not on my notes. But you guys, God has used you to help us to love Jesus more. Thank you. You couldn't have asked for better sons. Thank you for being here tonight. It's to our family for coming. For so many surprise and special friends. For ministry friends who, this is like the busiest day of the week. And so thank you for making time to come here and share a song. We're grateful. When we first announced a possible ministry move to London, a number of you came up to me and said, "We always knew Pat would end up serving the Lord somewhere else in the world." And they would follow that by saying, "This must be hard for you." Now, they didn't say that because they thought I didn't want to go with Pat. I want to go wherever he goes. But they said it because they knew how much I love my church family. I've spent my entire life here. Thank you, Paul, for not saying how many years. I really appreciate that. I grew up here, hearing my dad preach the word and proclaim the gospel week after week. It was here that I realized I needed Jesus to rescue me from my sin. And it was here I learned what it meant to follow him and serve him, whatever the need was. And I've served in every area in this church. I've learned here how important it is to sing songs that rehearse God's truth and exalted Christ as I listen to my mom lead this congregation week after week. It was here that I met and married my husband, raised a family, and it was here that I watched what it looks like to be a disciple of Christ and persevere in the faith in times of joy, in times of difficulty. I have been loved and cared for by so many of you. I wish I could say all your names, but we'd be here all night, wouldn't we? You have prayed for me and my family. You have encouraged me and been faithful friends. Forever friends, aren't we? Truth is, I would have happily stayed here and served the Lord alongside you for the rest of my days. But as I thought about how hard it would be to move, I thought about my mom and my dad, who years before I was even born, as a newly married couple, served in a wonderful church in the West Coast, a church they loved. They loved the people there. They loved their pastor. They loved the people they got to serve with. They loved being a part of what God was doing there, and I think they would have happily spent all their days serving in that ministry. But God had other plans. And I know all of us here tonight are grateful they obeyed God's call. Pat and I love you. We don't want to leave you, but we know that there are people who have never heard of what we're celebrating tonight. That Jesus came to rescue sinners. And we want to be a part of making that gospel known. If I may, I just would like to read. We've gotten so many notes and cards and texts. It's been pretty humbling. But at the very beginning, when we announced, it was announced that Pat was going on a sabbatical, and we would be praying and just investigating the possible move. We received a note from a dear young woman. It's the next generation, and I don't want to embarrass her, but I am. Lily's on, and I hope you don't mind that we go read from your note tonight. Pastor Pat and Miss Dana, I'm so grateful to have grown up with both of you as a part of my church family. You have displayed what a godly couple looks like and have used your gifts humbly and joyfully to bless our church. With that said, I was a bit sad when I heard that you were considering going to London full time. Our church would really miss you both. But as I thought and prayed about it, I realized that this opportunity is an answer to lots of prayers. Prayers for God to move and guide us, as well as prayers that I know many have prayed for Randy and Margie to be supported. And I also had the realization that as much of a blessing you are here, I feel that you also would be so valuable and well equipped to serve alongside Oasis Church. I'm very excited to see how God plans to fill the roles in our church and in others. Please know, we do know, and we're counting on this, that our church is praying for both of you in this decision. Love, everyone.
Okay, so how do you follow up that one? I just want to say somebody on our elder team told me I have to be quick, but you don't own me. And you can't fire me. But I gave my resignation. I just really want to thank all of our guests who have come tonight, that we have come to love and appreciate, and that we've gotten to work with other local pastors who are here that have impacted my life, that we've got to share ministry with others, Leo and others from our family of churches. Honestly, we just couldn't do it without you guys. In these months of preparing for this ministry move, we have been overwhelmed, and that's really an understatement, of your generosity, expressions of encouragement, care and support that you've given us, countless prayers that have been made on our behalf. We got visas. Yeah. We have team members because you prayed. We have almost all of our support. We've done this together, and we can't be thankful enough. We have always loved this church family, but now as we're preparing to leave, being here full time, we realize how deeply we cherish you. And so we agree with Charles Spurgeon, who said that the church, this church, has become to us the dearest. This is the dearest place on earth. I always tell people our church is not perfect, but it's a pretty wonderful place to be. With you, we've seen people transformed by the power of the gospel of Jesus. With you, we have experienced the grace of God proclaimed to us from the Word of God, exalting the Son of God, who came that we might have life and that to the full. With you, we've served one another, that we might stand mature and fully assured in all the will of God. With you, we have enjoyed deep communion. I would say that word lightly, deep, beneath the surface, not surfacing. Have that kind of fellowship with you to the extent that many of our closest relationships are right here among this church family. We've rejoiced with you. We have cried with you. We've persevered with each other. We've been united because of Jesus. And we've seen evidences of God's grace over and over and over again in you. So now things are a little different. But we can't be more thankful that we get to share this gospel ministry with this church family. We have enjoyed astounding care and encouragement because we're leaving. So if I may, I want to give you one last parting encouragement, and it is this. Keep showing that kind of care and encouragement to each other. Do it deliberately, please. Do it intentionally. Do it regularly. Look for ways to build each other up in the Word of God. Look for evidences of grace. You've taught me that. Look for evidences of God's work in each other's life, because it's easy to find what's wrong, right? Ask God for help to discover what's right in each other. And then tell others that you're thankful for what God is doing in their lives. Pray with them. Share the Word of God with them. That's what you're sending us out with. That's what you have modeled for us. And that's what we want to give to the church that we're going to. Jesus says to his disciples, to us, love one another as I have loved you. And the world will know that you're my disciples if you love one another. That's what you've done for us. And my dear church family, we are forever